Hey, hi, guys. So we have a triple threat today. We are going to not talk about AI for sure this time. We have with us Anudeep from last year's last episode. He is back and he is ready to share or overshare the things he has learned along his journey. And we have Yogesh and today we will be talking about a very philosophical topic, which is starting over from zero. It's not just starting from zero, starting over from zero, right, Yogesh?
Yes. Starting over from zero.
Right. And we have Anudeep. So you are here for the second time. So, uh, you know, how does it feel to be here again?
I'm looking forward to it. I think the last time the topic was very AI focused. Maybe it was with the times. Now we could also talk about AI, but literally everybody's talking about AI. We have different reasons for not talking about AI. Your reason is because your audience has said that it's too technical. My reason is literally everybody is talking about AI. So, like, there are other things that make us human. So, it would be nice to talk about those things. And this is in spite the fact that I'm actually an applied AI engineer. So
So yeah, we got an applied AI engineer, and we are not talking about AI. That is the episode today. So yeah, speaking of starting over, Anudeep, when was the first time you started over from zero? But not say it was when I was born, but ideally once you started your job or career, post that you felt like, you know what, I am starting from zero again. When was that?
I think I started over from zero a few times. Um, when I graduated my undergrad, I graduated with a degree in computer science, but I did not want anything to do with computer science at that time. So I switched over to doing consulting because I was like, this sounds cool, more business, more well, I thought there was more money, but my first job was like pretty poor paying, but it is what it is. Um, so I feel like that was the first start from zero where the things that I learned did not apply to the first job. So I had to learn a lot of things on the fly. Um, then, they say the things that you reject come back even more powerful. So I slowly started finding my way back to computer science. It was a slow, gradual process, but I realized that, okay, consulting is interesting, but using technology to solve real world problems is starting to sound even more interesting. So I switched from consulting to um, wanting to do technical product management, but then I ended up actually working in CSR, like corporate social responsibility. Um, we ended up launching, so I was part of Mahindra, and with Mahindra, we ended up launching one of India's largest social ambassadors program. So we would go to various schools, underprivileged schools, and connect them with mentors from Mahindra who had navigated the career path to help them understand um, the various options that are available out in the world if you want to actually choose a career. For a lot of these people, they didn't know how to choose a career. They only followed what their friends were saying or what their parents were saying. They didn't really understand the breadth of options available. So we connected at a pretty big scale the mentors at Mahindra with students in almost like a one-on-one. We bought the mentors to the school, so we would conduct a 2-day program. So that was a cool experience. Um, but after that, I went, did my MBA, moved to the US, um, worked as a product manager. This is not exactly a start over, but still, it kind of was because I was not a product manager before. When I graduated business school, I was very specific about what I wanted to do. I wanted to work as a product manager at an early stage startup. And as an immigrant, as a person who does not have prior product management experience, your best bets were big companies. And I had worked at a big company, I'd worked at Apple. And even though it was a company that I idolized, I really felt disconnected from that experience. I felt like a very small part of a very big, big puzzle. And I did not feel ownership. I did not feel like the work that I was doing was actually having an impact on the overall things that Apple was building. So I realized that I wanted to work at a really small company. And that was a difficult transition to make. Like in hindsight, I can look back and say, good job, Andeep. But in the moment, it was like a really hard thing to do because it took me 8 months to get that first job. Um, I I really struggled, like really, really struggled, both like mentally, psychologically. Um, I was crashing with friends, with family during that time. I did not have any money. Um, but I ended up like getting the thing that I wanted to do. And that was amazing. I worked as a product manager for many years. And then I realized, hey, I actually want to be an engineer. And this was right when AI had launched, like the first version, GPT-3 had launched. I was in San Francisco. GPT-3 was not the one that caught everybody's attention. That happened about a year and a half later with ChatGPT. But I was kind of where all the action was happening, and I was blown away by what I saw. I was like, what is this? Why is it able to do something so interesting? So I kind of went down that rabbit hole and I found my way to just like a little bit understanding the magic behind it. And that completely changed my perspective. I almost instantly saw that this was the future. This was one of the most important things that is happening. Um, and this will have like the biggest impact. And up until that point of time, even though I wanted to be an engineer, I secretly nursed that dream, but it just never made sense. Like I was earning a good amount of money. Product management was like a pretty decent job. Um, so the weight of doing that just wasn't there. Um, when GPT-3 launched, when artificial intelligence happened, I was like, oh, this is the future. And I don't want to be a manager in this future. I want to be a builder. And I effectively left my job, moved back to India to start a company and to teach myself engineering from ground up. Now, even though I did computer science in my undergrad, like I never really did any engineering work, right? So it was a completely zero to one's kind of process. And it took me 3-4 years of learning how to build systems, not just build systems in a very what we call today vibe coded way, but like things that you can actually scale up, like actual system engineering. Um, at the same time, I also launched a company, shut down the company, exited the company, did that with one another company. So I went through the typical route of the entrepreneur who launches something and thinks that this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and then realizing that the market does not care about how cool your idea is. It cares about what problems you're solving for them. And that there is deep innovation in figuring out what the revenue model is. Just the product is not everything, you know? So that was a whole different journey. And currently, I live in London. I recently joined as an engineer. And again, this is like a completely new role. Like, I was never an engineer. And it's been 4 months now. I think the first 3-4 months was full of imposter feelings. Like I didn't know how to work with other people. um, the smallest things that you don't even think of trip you up when you work with other people. Learning how large systems work, learning how to build, learning how to um, kind of set yourself up for the future in engineering. All of those things I had to learn from zero. But it's been an incredibly rewarding experience. Um, Painful, 100%. But on the other side, you learn things that you didn't even know was possible. I think that is the biggest thing about the benefit of going through that discomfort. Like, you, before the discomfort, has not even a clue what is possible on the other side of that discomfort. So, um, yeah, so like that's been like a few of my 0 to 1 experiences.
Nice. That's a lot of 0 to 1 experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, Yogesh,
It's too much.
That was
Yogesh,
like
you
that was
have.
like starting from CSR. He went into US, studied there, and then go to a top company, and then also become a product manager, and then to come down to again starting from building a company, and then to again grow up as an
Yeah,
engineer.
like I literally joined as a junior, like pretty low down on the engineering rung. And as a product manager, I was close to a director level. So like it is a massive this thing.
Yes, yes. But how is your decision making process, right? So usually, if someone, like most people that I've met in career, changing a career, it's like there's a huge friction in changing something. Like you're so comfortable, you are very adapted to something, and then suddenly, if you want to switch to something, it's not easy for, like most people. It's not easy. Like, what is your thought process during that switching decision making? Is it just there's an ambition, there's a drive, you just go towards, it's easy to switch, or is it like, do you take in consideration of finances? There's a lot of other things come into picture, right? Like, how does your thought process or decision making process happen when you're switching something to completely new?
So there's a multi-layered question. So I'll answer from a few different perspectives. First, I think there is a genetic component to risk taking that I do think that I've had from a very young age. I would do really stupid things for no specific reason. I would just do it. Um, Second, nurture helped. Um, Actually, no, not nurture, nature. So, which one is the environment piece? I think it's nature, right?
Nature.
Yeah. So, growing up, we moved around a lot. Like, we haven't spent more than 4 years in one place. And that too, that 4 years was just once. We moved around a lot. For example, I did my um, 10th standard in in one city, one state, 11th in another state, 12th in another state, and my first year of engineering in another state. So my dad had a job that kept him moving around a lot, and we went wherever he went. And it wasn't something that I chose. I I was not used to stability in that sense. I was used to the first day jitters of going to a new school. It didn't make it easier. It just, like, when you know how something is going to be the shape of that experience, you just know what to expect, and so you become a little bit better. So that was another aspect that overall helped. And later also, like, I moved countries, I moved continents, again I moved a continent. So that change was something that wasn't foreign to me. Now, the other question that you asked was around finances, and are these leaps that I take with planning or without planning? To be absolutely frank, these are all leaps without planning. If I had planned it, I would not have made that, because it just does not make financial sense. N- uh, and doesn't make financial sense on a couple of fronts. It wasn't that um was giving up a big salary to go. That's number one. Number two is I still have student loans, right? So if I'd sat down to financially analyze that I'm doing this, should I do it? I probably wouldn't have made that jump. This is not to encourage people to do that. Now, with all of the learnings that I have, now I still have that same risk taking uh, drive, you can say, but I'm more uh, precise about when I can take that risk. So I am a little bit more prepared because those those changes happened very s- it was unexpected, right? Like GPT-3 launching or me having a not a great experience at Apple. Like this was not planned. It wasn't part of an overarching goal. Those were the things that kind of helped me find my goal. So those were spontaneous. Now that I kind of know the overarching arc that my life is on, now I'm more mindful. And also, the last 4 years of being an entrepreneur, not earning any money, um, finding that finding the romance in that in the first, but then later realizing how difficult it is. All of those things contribute to me being much more mindful about the risks that I take, where I protect my downside, but I still leave the space for me to take risks.
Like
So
that's that.
overall, did not really plan a lot of the moves. Now I do.
So let's say you have to start over tomorrow again. What's the first thing you would do?
Um, I need to make sure that I have um, financially, I am capable of taking that. Now, I'm capable of living in very less. This is another byproduct of being an entrepreneur over the last 4 years and not earning money. So, my lifestyle, I can scale down very quickly and without a problem. I have learned how to live on very less. Um, so, it depends on where I'm taking the risk. If I'm taking the risk in India, if I'm taking the risk in the US, if I'm taking the risk in London, different parameters, right? But at the minimum, if I'm going to something and in this risk, I am not going to make money for some time, then I need to figure out how long am I not going to make money? And do I have money to basically take that risk without earning any additional money? Which means, do I have 6 months to 1 year of run?
Fair.
And basically look at the amount of money in the bank account and take the risk depending on how much money you have in the bank account. If that money allows me to take a risk in San Francisco, great. If I have money only to take a risk in like uh India, like that's the risk. So um I think the first thing is look at your finances, like can you take that risk? Then look at when can you start making money?
Okay,
Can
but
you
isn't
start
it
making money immediately?
when you tell that, look at your finances, can I take the risk? But then just a couple of minutes ago, you told that if I had looked at my finances, I would have never taken a risk, right?
Yeah, but now I can do that, right? That version of Anudeep had to learn from all of those to come to this point. Like that version of Anudeep had to exist. He had to have taken those spontaneous risks so that this version exists. Because now I know my overarching goal. Now my risks are not random. It's not like suddenly something comes and I'm like pulled into that direction like randomly.
Right.
Now I know the overarching direction and I'm headed in like a direction. That's what allows me to be, take risks like a businessman does. Like a businessman doesn't take risks without having any downside, you know? They protect their downside and then they take the risks. Because if you do that, the number of risks that you can take increases. That's what you want to set up for yourself.
Yeah. Best
So
thing that
I
I
have
love.
actually,
Oh, sorry. Okay, go
right?
ahead. Go ahead.
Just a question for you. What? So I mean, all three of us have started over multiple times now in different ways. Anudeep certainly has done much more than we have, and we don't have to share our stories all the time. But the question here is that we also need to have the sometimes the backing of the family, which isn't always there when you're starting over or when you're doing something new. Like for example, migrating to a different country, or quitting your job. In Anudeep's example, quitting a well high-paying job and starting a startup, just going to India and relearning things, learning about AI. And in your case, Yogesh, you have moved from one country to another now, and you're planning to move again in the next couple of years. So how important is having that family backing, or is the rebelling factor a good motivating factor in this case as well?
I think for at least in my case, the family support is sometimes bit varying. Like it depends on season to season, right? So first, when I went to South Korea, first when I went to Hyderabad to work, they were like, "Oh, you're going away from Bangalore and you're working in a different city." That was again, I had to convince, okay, it's my first job and blah blah blah. Again, going to South Korea for some time, and that was like they were okay because they knew it was temporary, so they were like okay. But coming to Poland again, I had to say them, no, I want to study there. I'm going there for studies, also for a job. So they said, okay, study means it's 2 years, then it's fine. Now it's already been 4 years. They are like continuously, almost every week. I get every week they remind me, okay, when are you coming back? When are you coming back? So yeah, sometimes I think they are supportive, but sometimes they are like, okay, come back. It's like you have to come back to home. I think yeah, me, I'm trying to be rebellious at certain times. Sometimes I'm trying to make them understand like what my goals are, what is that I'm gonna miss if I'm leaving everything. The main thing about starting over is for me is the network that I always do. So Bangalore, I had a very good friends. Even now, I have a very good network in Bangalore and all of that. I left. I went to Hyderabad. Hyderabad, same thing. I have a very good circle there, very good network. I left everything there. Now come to Poland again. When I have to leave all of this network and everything that I've built here, it's like again going back to some country again, starting over. And so yeah, coming back to the question, yes, I think from my side, sometimes you have to make them understand, and sometimes you have to be rebellious.
I think the hardest, like going to a new place and forming new social connections, is like one of the most important, but also one of the hardest things.
I think it gets harder along with age, doesn't it? I mean, it was much easier for me to make friends in my early 20s and mid 20s. And then as and when I started moving towards the 30s, right, it sort of became a much more difficult process. And you have to sort of consider the environment as well. In your 20s, you have a lot of energy. You are with people who also have a lot of energy, who don't have things tied up. They're not tied up to like family, or they don't have a spouse or things like that, and you can sort of gel with them much more easily. Whereas once in your late 20s, that goes down a little bit. And your environment matters. If you're in the university, if you're going for studies, even if you're 40 years old, you can still make network. You can still have a network and make friends. But once you're out, once you're working, or if you're going out for work, or you're starting a new company, then it really gets quite difficult to network and make that circle of trusted people around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, despite it being difficult, you have to.
You also the thing is also the thing is when you keep like when you're at different ages, the people that you meet in that particular place is completely different. When you're young, you're meeting someone of, like, you want to do fun, or mostly the people that you meet is of that. But once you're focused on more on like not like the fun type, but more on the professional side. So if you're like over the period of time that you meet is like very good network. Like for now, right now, example, but when I was in Bangalore, I was not meeting VCs, I was not meeting angel investors, I was not doing all of that. Right now, when I'm in Poland, I'm meeting all, like, mostly such business people who are running businesses, people who are into investment and all of these people. So that's the kind of network we, over the period of time when we are looking at life through different stages, we kind of meet people with different what should I skill set, yeah.
No, so I mean, so Anudeep, for example, when you started over multiple times, right? Uh, what was the one thing that, or one thing at a certain point in your life when you were trying to start from zero again, that sort of surprised you or uh, took you by full surprise?
Hmm, I mean, this is a surprise, but when I moved to Bangalore, I did not make any efforts as such to make friends or build a network in any meaningful capacity. Um, and when I say network, I particularly mean the personal connections. Professional connections, if you have the need for it, like you can go meet those people and form these professional connections. But um, they become a little transactional. Um, Personal connections are a whole other story. So when I went and moved to Bangalore, I didn't make any efforts to be build up my personal connections, but I have some of my dearest friends from Bangalore. Like I loved my time there. And honestly, it happened because they say when you know where you're going, the world will step aside to let you through. But if you don't know where you're going, the world will tell you. So in my case, I guess when I moved to Bangalore, I was very clear about what I needed to do. Um, and I poured every bit of my energy into doing that. And I guess like attracts like. Like a lot of my friends just like they just found me. I don't even know how. Like some of my best friends happened because I was sitting at this particular cafe and I would be able to work really well from there. So whenever I would get bored from working at office, I would go to this cafe and I would sit and I would work. And I worked there without speaking to anybody for a year. And then suddenly, after a year, all of the regulars there just became great friends. Like up until then, I have never spoke to anybody. But then suddenly, almost like a year later, some of these people became my closest friends. So I guess the people that I met along the way unexpectedly um, was some of the biggest surprises. And um, I think at the end of the day, people are the only surprise. Like once you meet somebody and you're really open to listening to them, and you create the right environment for them to open up, you will be surprised by how much you can learn from anybody. So that's I think during that Bangalore period, maybe I was able to do that well, where because I kind of knew what I was doing, I wasn't trying to impress anybody. I wasn't trying to, uh, you know, try to show somebody how cool the things I was working on were. There was almost like a self assuredness, and maybe that attracted people. So, but also not just that, because I was not that, I was genuinely there and listening to people. So, I guess when you are genuinely present in whatever you do, the right people will find you. And that's like the thing that I was surprised by, not because it was um, unexpected. It was just something I didn't even think about, but it just ended up happening.
Right. So it was a good
You both.
one.
Huh?
It was a quick surprise in a way in that case, right?
Yeah. What about you both?
So we both are the Bangalore boys, friends.
Huh.
So you see us in the same.
Huh.
We met each other in Bangalore in the university.
Huh.
We sit in the same bench. We were singing songs in the same classroom, sitting next to each
Huh.
other. So
Huh.
yeah, you see us now together.
Huh. Huh.
So for us, I mean, for me, when I was sort of, I I had the privilege of not starting over as much as you guys did. And I call it a privilege because it was in a way, right? I was sort of cocooned in my house with my parents until even after I started my first job. I did go out. I did sort of go to other cities and work for some time, but Bangalore itself, commuting is like going from one city to another, anyways. Um, yeah, because it was nearly what my workplace was nearly 25 to 30 odd kilometers away from my house. And I had to drive there every single day and drive back in that traffic during peak hours. So that took nearly 2.5, 3 hours for me to do that.
Jesus Christ. Just out of curiosity, where did you live and where did you work?
I lived in North Bangalore, in an area called Sakarnagar, near Hebbal. And then I first worked in Kengeri, which is also 30 kilometers away. And then I worked in Whitefield, which is again 30 kilometers away. And then Banarghatta Road, which is also 30 kilometers. It was,
Actually crossing Bangalore.
yes, I worked in all three. I worked in East Bangalore, West Bangalore, and South Bangalore.
But during your entire time in Bangalore, you always stayed with parents. You never stayed
No, I didn't.
to work.
No, I didn't. I did not. So because I had the option to commute with my own vehicle, and that gives you a lot of. I think that's something that I do miss out here. That I don't have my own vehicle yet to go around and commute. Because if I did, I would have lived in a more economical zone in London comparatively. But yeah, I did have that privilege, and I was cocooned, and I had never made my own food until COVID. So until COVID, due to whatever happened in my personal life, happened, and I was like, I'm done with this. I need to get out of this whole area and place, and I need to start new. And that's what motivated me to do my masters abroad. And then COVID hit, and I was like, what do I do now? I had, in fact, resigned my job before COVID, but thinking that the next 3 months I'll be in Australia, and and I need that 3 months to roam around India. So I had a full-fledged plan to roam around in 3 months and then go to Australia and do my masters and higher studies and things like that. And then whatever happens after that. I was ready for that. And COVID hit. It was very unexpected, and I was like, the job I resigned, I had to go back and I asked if it is okay for me to take the resignation paper back. And I continued in that job for another year and a half. And then again chose to come to the UK for my masters. So yeah, it was. So until COVID, until I decided to move, I didn't even know how to cook. I didn't know how to turn on a gas stove. So that's how cocooned I was. Everything was done for me, and I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to lift my fingers for even changing the TV controls. So so the only thing that surprised me was how difficult it was to plan your day when you're living alone. Every day morning I wake up and I think, what do I cook today? what do I do today? What is my plan for today? And weekends are even worse because I don't know what to do alone in the house all day long sometimes. And that's because, again, I've started over in London now in last year, right? So I was in Birmingham. I had a couple of friends there, and now I'm in London again, and I have countable friends here, but not everyone is always free on the weekends. So yeah, I think the human interaction and planning your day around those things were sort of surprising to me. What was surprising was how difficult it is to do all those things, because it looked easy when my parents did it. It looked easy when, my friends who were in the hostel during my engineering days, they were all happy and they were all enjoying. And I thought I would do the same thing. But oh God, reality hit me so hard. Yeah. That's from my aspect.
I think
Yeah.
cooking. Yeah, before that, cooking. I think cooking is really the thing that will make you miss your comfort zone a lot. I think, like when you eat your own cooked food for the first time, you'll be like, "Oh my god, this is the worst decision ever."
Yeah,
Um,
I think more than cooking, there was this one time where I really, really thought, okay, what am I doing here? And so during my university, we had to sort of get part-time jobs to cover our bills and everything. And I got a part-time job in an event management company where I was doing wine waiting, and I was carrying around a tray of wine glasses around at events. And I'm not telling it's a bad job. I'm just trying to tell you that at that point I thought, and my legs were hurting like anything because I was standing there for nearly 8 hours doing that, 4 hours, 4 to 8 hours doing that. And I was sitting in an office building, looking at my system, no one to bother me, and I was living a privileged life. I didn't have to pay bills, I didn't have to pay rent, and here I am carrying a tray of wine glasses, empty, some full, and I'm like, what am I doing here? So that struggle, it might not be the same as someone else's struggle, because I'm sure people have struggled worse than this. But for me, from my perspective, yes, it was a struggle to get used to that. So that aspect, that difficulty will always surprise me. Even now, moving to London, the cost has gone up so much that, okay, what do I do? How do I do this? How do I save enough money? And how do I send money back home? Or how do I invest? All those things keep coming in your mind, and you have to keep figuring it out. So yeah. Uh,
Mm.
To be how would you, what surprised you the most apart from cooking?
no, I think I think like start the recent last 1.5 years, the major starting over that I'm doing is like I'm through this arranged marriage process, right? So whenever my father sends a new person, I have to restart establishing myself. I have to restart building the trust and all of that. That's the that's the last 1 year of major restarts that I'm doing. Every time I meet a person, I have to like be with the same energy, be with the same enthusiasm and all of that to build that trust, build that relationship with them.
Just record a video and then pair it with them before.
Yeah.
This is about.
PDF file of it. So this is who I am.
No, that's the thing, right? When I majorly not much in my case, but in Anudip's case, I don't know if he's married or if he's dating someone, but
Not married.
not married. Okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
No, generally, I think that's the thing, right? When you see from the other side, like other side of the world, friends, families, and like many people around, you're trying to do something risk taking, starting over, and all of that. And the other side, you see there's always marriages happening, kids there with their kids. That's one thing you always feel like, okay, that's one thing which will make you okay when you're trying to do start over or anything. It will always tell you, am I doing the right thing or not? That's it always you'll have to justify yourself, give a good reasoning to yourself to keep up your motivations and all of that, right?
Yeah, I hear you on that. Like, is your abilities multiplex when the right person is there with you, but they also become a fraction when the wrong person is with you. So it's very important. It's probably the most important decision that you will take in your life.
All these deep quotes, Yogesh, go in as clips. Go in as all his deep quotes of your ability when the right person is with you multiplies or divides when they. Yeah. This episode is filled with deep quotes, so we should probably rename the title to Deep Quotes with Anadeep. The Boys is there, right? There's a TV show called Boys, and they have a guy named Deep, and he has a podcast or a blog of his own, which is like, Deep with Deep or something like that.
Okay.
My name is also
Your name is also Anadeep, yeah. Yeah. So,
No, but
yeah.
but what he said was like really, I think that's a standard kind of thing in relationships, right? You have to have the right partner to amplify or to to grow, support each other, and because they also have their own passion, they also have their own thing, we'll have to support them also, so it's a good exchange.
Mutual synergy is very important. So, before we come to the end of this whole session, Anandeep, uh, what is the one thing you would say directly to someone who's currently, right now, starting from zero all over again?
Mm, the discomfort is very real. The is if it is not uncomfortable, then you haven't taken a big enough leap. Um, to get through the discomfort, you have to add structure. That structure has to be meaningful only to you. You can read, you can watch a lot of YouTube shorts, you can watch all of this stuff to understand how different people do it, but realize that you are a creative person, and the first act of creativity is going to be to figure out how to um, set up structure in a way that works for you. Because if everything is unstable, it's really hard to do anything. So you need to have at least something stable. Usually it's a routine, usually it's like a habit. So find that structure within the chaos, and when things will seem hard, um, hold on to that structure, and magic will happen. And um, yeah, I wish you like all the joy on the other side, because the other side is not what you think it will be. It'll be completely different, it will be completely unexpected, and you will be a changed person. In a good way or a bad way is like out of your control. So embrace it.
That was another session of Deep with Anadeep. Yeah, no, that was great. That was great. That's very valuable. How about you, Yogesh? What would you say? What's the one thing you would say to someone who's currently starting over from zero?
I think for me, major thing is all the. I feel that we have a lot of belief. We have a belief system or the value system or whatever it is all constructed by a lot of different experiences that we come through. So I would always try to self evaluate that. Try to see what's actually like. We don't have to um, predominantly think that, okay, I'm this, I'm that, I can only do this, I can only do that, and then think about starting over. It's you are taking too much baggage of your previous assumptions or belief systems into starting over. Instead, think like you, what really means, what are your real beliefs that you mean to yourself, rather than something given by a society or any other thing. And then also try to see what really gives more value when you're trying to starting over and all of that. um yeah, like Bruce Lee, I think one of the major I like Bruce Lee saying, be like water, right? So be in that flow state. You It's not like I'm saying, oh, it's one life, you just have to do whatever you want. But then also taking calculated risks is also important. I mean, when you're too young, it's okay, it's fine. There's nothing much to lose. But when you're growing older and older, there's a lot of calculated risks that you need to take, I think. Yeah.
Nice.
So what about you, Ashwin?
Uh, well, I would say if you are starting over all over again from zero, um, just let go of all your inhibitions and go deeper into whatever you're trying to do. And if it's meant for you, it will definitely happen. If it's not meant for you, do not get frustrated because you did put in the effort. There's a book called The Alchemist, and there's a beautiful line in that which has been copied into a lot of Bollywood movies as well. It says that when you want something, the whole universe conspires in helping you to achieve it. So keep that in mind. Keep that positive attitude in mind. I know it's not going to be easy, but I think mindset plays a big part when you are at a low point in your life or in your career or whatever. So no matter how low you get, always try to be as positive as you can, because whatever is meant for you will definitely happen. That's all I want to say.
Love it. So one final thing, find allies.
Yes, 100% agree. Network, make friends, make business contacts, make whatever you're into, but yes, make allies is the best advice out there. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Well, thank you, Anudeep. We do hope that you join us for another episode, maybe about AI if you're into it. Uh, he's like, no, I am not doing that again. No, we can also talk about other things. You're not, you're a multifaceted guy. So we'd love to have you again and talk about something more fun or something more thought provoking. Thanks a lot for joining us today. And thank you, Yogesh, as well.